Tonight, the House Ethics Committee has released a report on Republican Congressman Chuck Edwards of North Carolina. After a somewhat lengthy investigation of Congressman Edwards, this bipartisan ethics committee is now recommending that he should be censured by Congress. He should be censured for sexually harassing young women who worked in his office. And the operative word here is young. Chuck Edwards is a married 65-year-old man. One of the women he's accused of pursuing relentlessly in his office was 19 when she first started working with him. In case you're curious, yes, Chuck Edwards is running for re-election this fall. The North Carolina Democrat running against him is a fifth-generation North Carolina farmer named Jamie Ager. In Ohio, the Republican Party has until next week to replace incumbent Republican Congressman Max Miller on the ballot, if indeed they are going to replace him. Max Miller is insisting that he's running for re-election in Ohio, but after mounting accusations of physical abuse toward his ex-wife and their young daughter, accusations with which Mr. Miller denies, his political future is very much in doubt. Max Miller's ex-wife is the daughter of Ohio Republican U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno. Bernie Moreno is now demanding Max Miller should quit his re-election race and quit Congress, but nobody knows if he will. Again, Republicans only have until next week to replace him on the ballot if he's getting out. So far, Max Miller says he's not getting out, but we shall see. In case you're wondering, the Democrat running to unseat Max Miller is named Brian Poindexter. He was already in a statistical dead heat with Max Miller in Ohio before Senator Moreno demanded that Miller get out. We shall see. So those stories are out of North Carolina and Ohio, troubled Republican candidates in those states. But, you know, if there is a state that's kind of leading the pack when it comes to Republican candidates you can't quite believe are really still on the ballot, this year it's got to be Texas. In Texas this year, Republicans have nominated the guy who bought Jeffrey Epstein's ranch to be their statewide candidate for comptroller. His name is Don Huffines. In Texas this year, Republicans have picked as their statewide nominee to oversee the oil and gas industry, someone who is perhaps most famous for polling people online with this question: who is a bigger threat to America? And then he gave you just two options to choose from: Muslims or Jews. He is now the Republican Party's nominee for statewide office in Texas. His name is Beau French. The guy who has the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate in Texas has a big anniversary today. Today, August 3rd, is the anniversary of his mugshot being taken on the day he turned himself in to face charges in a multi-count securities fraud indictment. Those are charges he later settled. Texas Republican Ken Paxton was turned into the FBI by his own staff. In the Texas Attorney General's office, they turned him into the FBI for bribery and abusing his office. Ken Paxton was then impeached by the Texas House of Representatives, including 60 votes for his impeachment from his fellow Republicans. But they didn't remove him from office. He was only not removed from office after that impeachment because of the Senate trial in that impeachment. You'll remember this from Trump's impeachment, right? You get impeached in the House and then you go on trial in the Senate. It was the same thing for Ken Paxton in Texas. And the trial in that impeachment in the Texas Senate was overseen by Texas's Republican lieutenant governor. Texas's Republican lieutenant governor literally, not kidding, literally took $3 million from two billionaire Ken Paxton supporters right before he started overseeing that trial. And then, wouldn't you know, everything in that trial really seemed to go Ken Paxton's way. And so they kept him in office. On a $150,000 government salary, Ken Paxton has not been able to explain how he has amassed a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio that includes at least 15 homes and parcels of land, including 3 houses he simultaneously claimed as his primary residence, and 1 home where he has been registered to vote, even though he definitely doesn't live there. Even though his campaign says he follows all voter-related laws, Ken Paxton himself refuses to answer any questions about where he votes and if it's legal, even as he stokes fears of voter fraud for everybody else. to get a sense of Ken Paxton's reputation in Texas and the kind of thing that Texas voters have been hearing about Ken Paxton recently, consider that while Ken Paxton was primarying Republican U.S. Senator John Cornyn, Cornyn's ads against Ken Paxton looked like this.
It's voting time, so let's cut through the bullshit. Crooked Ken Paxton cheated on his wife. She's divorcing him on biblical grounds. So now Paxton's wrecking another home, sleeping around with a married mother of 7.
Okay, so that's who Texas Republicans have nominated to take John Cornyn's Senate seat in Texas this year.